So
That's
yeah.
good. So here's a question for you. So we already mentioned Seinfeld. You mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
So you have to remember the episode where he's sleeping in the hotel. I think it's a hotel, and he remembers that bit. He
Yeah.
has a bit that comes in his
Oh
mind. He
yeah.
tries to write it on a piece of paper, and he's half asleep, so he just writes
Oh, and
Joan.
the maid took it, right?
Yeah, the maid
Yeah, she
takes
was
it.
tucking those sheets too.
So he
You want
never
no tuck?
remembers quite what he wanted to. So have you had that moment where you come up with something
Oh
and you
yeah.
try to write it and you just lose it?
Sure, yeah, that happens. Yeah, just now we got our notes app. We can just pull it up, save it in there. Maid ain't taking that.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Yeah, and if you do it long enough, you can kind of remember. Oh, I had this thought about this idea. Um, Recently, I didn't write the joke out, but I saw something in my kitchen, and I went, oh, that could be fun. And then I went, where could I add that? Oh, well, I talk about Aldi a little bit, the grocery store. And it's a dumb opening joke about Aldi, how you can save a lot of money. They're going there. And I was like, the joke is how I say, yeah, a lot of cheap stuff there. Like I just got a shopping cart for $0.25, you know?
Right.
And I couldn't, I never had anything really that I liked that I added to that. But I was in the kitchen and my roommate had something on the counter. It was called savory crackers. And so I went, oh, I could add that there. If the show's going good, I'm going to add it here. Because if the crowd's liking you enough, you can get away with a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, this feels good. I think it's about trust, building trust. So,
Yeah.
all right, they like me. Maybe I can get away with this. So, yeah, I threw that in there, how Aldi had off-brand stuff. And I was like, yeah, they don't have Ritz crackers. They have savory crackers. And everyone started laughing. And then the joke for that was like, that sounds like something you would call a bunch of exceptional white people, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, those whites that marched in the civil rights movement. Those are savory crackers.
That's right.
So, and I knew it was good because I was laughing with the crowd as I was saying it, which I hardly ever do. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. So it was cool to not have to painstakingly write out what's funny about this, because the writing process is so hard.
Yeah.
But that was fun because I'm like, oh, I didn't have to think too much about this one. That was just a fun
That's
reaction. Good. Let's see how the crowd day one or show one of comedy, I wouldn't have been able to do that. But you just get more comfortable and you're just like, all right, let's see what happens. I've got enough material. If this doesn't work, I'll make fun of it for not working, go to the next joke. But I was really proud of that thought that stayed in there. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And when you drive for 8 or 9 hours, you got time to go, oh, some of my better jokes have been from that, not just sitting down writing, but thinking, oh, what if I did this instead? Because you do it enough, and you should have enough awareness to do comedy that if it's going well, not going well, because I've seen guys go, oh, that killed, and we're all going, no, that did not. Yeah. That was not good. They think it's going well.
Well, because it's relatable. That's the stuff that works when people can relate to it and they go, oh, that is funny.
Exactly.
I've been there.
It's hard to because there's so many things you find funny, but does a general crowd find it funny?
Right.
It's like a pop artist versus an indie artist. Do you want to write something that the masses are going to like, or just something a few people are going to like?
Right.
But
that's good.
Yeah. Just all about that connection with the crowd.
So I'm gonna switch gears on you for another second. I'll switch gears a little bit. Okay. So we'll go back to that. So when you're on the road, how often do you find opportunity, or do you look for opportunity, to present the gospel? Because you're all over the place.
Sure. It's a good question. I am pretty intentional when I do these theater gigs, even when I do non-theater gigs or clubs or whatever. I am huge on being relational and intentional. When I talk to these theaters, I'm always like, I'm never going to claim to be the funniest guy that hits your stage, but I will be the most grateful. I will be the most professional and the most intentional. Whether that gets me a booking or not, I'm big on building relationships. I don't want to just rent a theater. Whenever they come back with a rental, I'm always like this. I don't want to be transactional. So I want to work. I like what this community theater is about. I want to do something different here. I want to do the show, have a good time. I always get the names of the volunteers or the staff that's there that night. I always get them down as I meet them. I always just make sure I try to meet everyone there that's helping out with the show, because they don't know me. And it means the world to me that they're here. They could do anything else that night, but they're there that night, helping out, making the show a success. Before I tell my last joke, I'm always getting the names down, and I'm always telling people before I tell my last joke, hey, we couldn't have done this without these people. They took your tickets. They sold you your concessions. And these are volunteer guys. So let me start clapping now for all these guys. And I tell my last joke. And then before I tell my last joke, I tell them, hey, I don't really sell any merch anymore. I don't have t-shirts. I'll be out there saying goodbye to you. So please don't avoid me like a Jehovah's Witness or whatever. I'll be out there. Just even a wave helps because it means the world to me that you bought a ticket. If the opportunity presents itself, if I get to know somebody, I try to add their name to a prayer list. That's either if I'm on a plane or I meet someone at a hotel and they open up a little bit. I do pray before my shows. Even you don't have to be a Christian to be on the show that I do. And I'm always before a show, even if I kind of know the person, not really. I'm always like, hey, I always pray before the show. You can be a part of it if you want to. If not, no big deal. Most of them are pretty cool with it. And I just pray for memory, confidence, and connectivity with the crowd and just a grateful attitude while we're up there.
Yeah.
I had one guy in Ohio, Lee Mays, that was his name. Cool dude. He didn't want to do it. He didn't pray with us. But a few years later, he went through some crazy health stuff, came back, and then kind of directed his life, towards God. And then he messaged me about that. And he's like, man, that time you prayed, I know I wasn't part of it, but that stood out to me and I hadn't forgot that. So I don't necessarily preach while I'm on stage, but if there's an opportunity to get weird and pray for somebody, I do. Julie Scoggins was that way. She did a show in Louisville. I featured for her years ago. She was just talking about her family life and I prayed over it. And that came up from time to time where she just, thanks for praying for that. And
I think you said the word too, though. You said relational.
Yeah.
And to me, like that's what scripture really is.
Yeah.
That's what the Bible really is. That's what Jesus came to do. It's a relational thing. It's not, we make it too religious and then people don't want a part of it.
Sure.
And you know, you didn't force the guy to pray and then later he comes back to you because it was relational.
Yeah. I try. Again, we all have our crap and I don't want to come off like a saint at all.
Right.
To steal from my roommate who's also a pastor, I'm an idiot on my best day, But yeah, when I do those things, it means the world to me that people come to a show and I want to let them know I'm grateful. And I even have my friend Carrie send thank you cards, mainly because I'm too lazy for that. And the intent is there. Here's where my flaws are, but she's really good and professional at it. She knows how to handwrite. And so she sends thank you cards for me. And so just trying. I want to do a good job, obviously, but it's the off the stage stuff that I think matters just as much. So, because if someone is difficult to work with, you're just like, all right, I don't want to be around this.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.